getting there slowly. Alright, what's funny is that 2 midgets fit in a parking spot. Literally. 2 midgets, 1 lane. Right? What are you listening to?
Secret Agent Man.
Are you serious? Is that picking up on AM radio?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
That's actually pretty awesome.
Oh dude, it's so awesome. This rattle has got to go.
What is it from?
It's the exhaust collars that I had to make. I gotta.
You're gonna haul in butt going down here. I'll let you go. We have 2 midgets here, and if you remember, this midget was left in a barn for 20 years, and now you're driving it daily.
Daily driver.
And you've done some pretty tasteful touches to it.
Yeah. So I backdated the wheels and the front grille.
Yeah, you got the same grills as me now. That's
Yep.
nice.
Yep. So we've got the Mark II grill on it, and backdated it to the smoothie style wheels with the hubcaps. They're a little narrower. Got new tires on it. It was in bad need of new tires.
And what tires are these?
These are the Pirelli Cinturados. It's a radial design to look like a classic bias ply tire, and they're designed specifically for classic sports cars.
And you got new wheels too.
Yep, new wheels.
I like these.
Off of a Mark I midget.
Okay.
Or a Mark II Sprite, and just to backdate the looks a little bit. And then, of course, we added
A picnic basket.
a picnic basket.
It looks like a Martha Stewart special.
It is. Yeah, I made these buckles for it, these straps to hold it down.
Dang.
She goes nowhere on the highway. It's on there.
I know, we were flying. I got a video of us. We're doing. Well, my needle was at 90. I don't know how accurate that was, but
Yeah, I was about there.
we were hauling butt.
I was in the yellow. I was fast approaching red line.
You cleaned up the interior really nice.
Yeah, biggest thing that I did with the interior. So I mean, it cleaned up really nice. It sat with its top up for about 20 years with the windows up, top up. So the interior was preserved pretty well. Biggest thing I did was disassemble the radio console and clean up all the grounds. Added a couple new grounding points, and now, of course it's buzzing because we're in the garage.
Oh yeah, I told you.
But here, hold on to that antenna. Oh, there you go. Now I have the AM radio stations. It's really nice. I didn't have that station. I didn't even have that station before. I only had.
Are you saying that I am becoming the antenna?
Well, yeah, you're extending the.
It's electrifying.
Yeah, but
Oh.
I discovered stations I didn't even have before. I only had 2 stations. I had Christian talk radio and the Spanish station. That's all I had. And cleaned up the grounds. And I now have a full AM bandwidth, which is really nice.
So now, obviously, you've done.
So that's just what I've done aesthetic wise.
And
we haven't even gotten into performance yet.
You've got some good. All right, suspension wise, obviously, like mine, I've got a good bounce and squeak.
Yeah.
And yours, you redid the entire suspension.
Yeah.
So what did you do suspension wise?
So I was thinking of uprating the suspension and getting it a little bit more go-karty feeling. Found a guy on the internet who's like the guru of midgets, essentially suspension. And I called him up, and he goes, "Why would you do that?" the car was designed as a sports car. Have you ever driven a stock suspension, like new as it should be driven? Have you ever driven a Midget? I was like, no. He's like, well, I've owned 38 of them, and I think you should just go with the stock suspension. I was like, okay, sure. So I got rebuilt and revalved shocks with modern seals built by him. And then I got brand new front and rear springs through Moss Motors. And then I got the Super Pro bushing kit from also through Moss. And those are the polyurethane bushings instead of the rubber bushings. They're a little bit stiffer, which really, I mean, everything on this car with the new tires and the new suspension completely transformed how it handles turns, how it goes over railroad tracks, how it drives on the highway. It feels amazing.
So when you first got it, comparatively now, it's a pretty night and day difference?
Night and day.
Night and day.
I rebuilt the entire braking system, all new brakes, front and rear.
And motor-wise, pop your hood ones.
Motor-wise, yeah.
Because you've done some tasteful mods on that. I like the patina because it literally looks the same as when we did the first video.
Yeah,
and
we're going to get a paint job, though.
But you dialed in what's important.
Yeah.
And now you can make it, wow.
So as far as the motor goes, to
Same.
get it to even run, I had to ultrasonically clean the carbs, and the original Bakelite cap and the solid core wires were shot, which I didn't know was possible. My buddy, who's a
same 1275.
Same 1275. Once I got it running, I haven't really had to do much to the motor itself, but the ignition system and fueling system I had to fully go through to even get it to run. I had to replace the original points. I went with an electronic Pertronix ignition and upgraded to the Lucas Sports Coil. Then I got a new cap and new plugs and new plug wires as well. So that eventually got my spark issue figured out, retimed it, and then I ultrasonically cleaned the HS2, the SU HS2 carburetors, and they were bad. They were glued frozen.
For 20-some years, right?
Yeah. I mean, the fuel essentially turned into like an epoxy. I had to pry the diaphragms, the SU diaphragms apart because they were just glued on. And so, yeah, went through that, got it running. It runs really reliably now. It's a turnkey motor. And
I see you got headers.
Yeah, so I went with the Moss Sport stainless steel exhaust that they offer.
It's shiny.
It's really great exhaust. I really like the sound of it. Out of the box, didn't fit quite right. Ended up talking to their support, and he was like, yeah, you know how these cars were handmade. Some of the frame rails are 1/4 of an inch off from each other, so I was hitting the frame rail, so I had to add these little spacers. But I'm really happy with the exhaust and with the exhaust note.
How'd you get the headers to fit? Did you have to mill them yourself, or were they fitting to the head, or were they rubbing?
They fit to the head just fine. I had to create little spacers for the intake manifold.
That makes sense.
For them to be flushed together. But my problem was in the header to the collection pipe where the springs are, that slip joint. It was too short. So I had to add these little spacer rings into the slip joint to extend it down so the pipe wasn't hitting the bottom of the frame.
And what are your future plans for this? What's your next group of mods you're going to do?
Next group of mods, paint job. I'm going to go with Old English white.
Ooh.
We're going to get rid of the patina.
Like this type of white?
Yeah, like that, yeah.
Old English.
I'm going to go with Old English white. It's a classic MG color. It's a little more of a cream, which I'm really excited about. And after that, I think I'm going to focus on changing the gear ratios and the gearing a little bit. Right now, red line for me is around 80 miles an hour.
It's quite funny because I'll be at 80 at like 3,600 RPM, and
yeah, so you have the 3.9 rear end, and I have the 4.22 rear end.
There's a big difference between highway cruising.
Huge difference.
I'm like cruising, like today's a nice day in my Buick LeSabre, and you're like F1 car revs.
yeah. So I'm gonna change the gear ratio in the rear pumpkin probably down to a 3.7, and then I'm gonna start trying to source a Datsun 5-speed, because then I can just be cruising at 3,000 RPM at like 80, 85 miles an hour.
Oh yeah.
Which will be great on the highway. I'm excited for that. Then once all of that's done, I'm gonna focus on performance. Probably do a camshaft and head work.
What are you hoping for horsepower wise?
You know, I'd be happy with 85 to 90.
Which would haul butt, considering that these are what, 53?
They say 62 bell, so at the wheels, what is it, a 20% loss?
So like, 18 horse at the wheels when we're getting ready.
I would love to see between 80 and 90 at the wheels.
That haul butt.
If I can get 100 at the bell, I'll be right as rain. And then she's ready for road trips, really long road trips.
Well, it's coming together really good. I'm shocked how nice your interior is, and you haven't had to do anything to except clean it.
Yeah. I mean, there's one tiny little tear on the seat, but we sewed it up.
And the wheels came out really good. I like this choice. Everybody does what, the mini lights?
A lot of people go with the mini lights, and they're a little lighter,
but these
a little
look OG.
wider. But I wanted to go for that heritage look, so the pizza cutters.
This looks great, man.
Is what I kept with. Yeah. Honestly, the biggest transformation was with the suspension and tires. I can just absolutely flog on this thing now, and it just doesn't want to let go, which makes me really happy.
Yeah, you're pretty happy with this car, aren't you?
Oh, I love it. I love it so much that I'm probably selling my supercharged MGB to my parents.
And just keep this.
'Cause they're retiring to Cape Cod, and yeah, there we go. They're retiring to Cape Cod, so I want my dad to have a nice beach cruiser, and his first car was an MGB.
Hey!
Oh, howdy!
should we what?
What were we talking about?
I have no clue. Oh, we're just going. Really? Is that necessary?
Yeah, you tell them.
Well, it's coming along great, man.
I love it.
You're doing a great job on it. Can't wait to see what it looks like once you get that paint job. And
yeah, the antenna's going away. I got a digital antenna from Retro Sound through Moss, and
yours is a 70?
1970.
1970.
Yeah.
Mine's a 72,
Yeah.
71, 72.
Yeah, mine's the early Mark III. It's the second year that they did the Mark III.
And I learned something new because all these years I've had this car, I have the round arch wells right here. Okay, so you got a good idea.
That was 72 to 74.
And yours, square. And what? That was from late 60s to 72.
So they did the square top all the way through early Mark III, all the way through 71.
Yeah.
From when they introduced the Midget.
The grill looks good.
The grill looks great.
It's crazy to see two midgets together like this.
I gotta get the Euro Clear markers.
No, it looks great.
These are a little obnoxious.
It looks good, man. Well, that concludes this episode. Let's go see how many more lanes we can fit in as a pair.
That's always fun, right? Yeah.